Hello, everybody. Thank you so very much for clicking on It's Eyes Open for Monday, the 5th day of February 2024. And we're just clicking on. Chris will be joining us momentarily. The link's up there. And we're going to have you come up and ask questions if you have any, or possibly comments, whatever it may be. Your opportunity to come up and join us tonight. Hello, peace, love, and sunshine. Thank you so very much for being here. Again, thank you all for watching. I know a lot of people watch at their convenience, don't catch the live, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do so. I'm going to be on either tomorrow night or I'm going to be on either tomorrow night or Thursday. And the focus of that particular episode is going to be the WEF. It's going to be the World Economic Forum. And starting out tonight, the arrogant and contemptuous way self-proclaimed globalist elites view the new neo-feudal peasant class. That's you and me, for those that don't know. The good news is the elites across the world trust each other more and more, so we can come together and design and do beautiful things together. The bad news is the majority of people trust that elite less, so we can lead, but if people aren't following, we're not going to get where we want to go. Where they want to go is a reduction in population of the world by 87%. Now, some of you may be sitting out there thinking, well, maybe they should, maybe the 87% might include them. If the 87% included them, there would be no need for reduction. Just something to think about. Again, Chris is going to join us here momentarily, and we're going to get rolling along on the major topics of tonight, which are going to be the border, the convoy to the border, and a guy named Ivan Rankin that you may or may not have heard of. And while we touched on what happened with the convoys and the border this past weekend, a lot of people were watching what was going on various live streams. And thank you, peace, love, sunshine. Yes, indeed, I forget to say that every once in a while. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the share, hit the notification bell if you're already a subscriber. And if you think you're a subscriber, make sure you are, because some people have been unsubscribed without them realizing it. And again, like I said, Chris is going to be coming on in just a few minutes. Before he does, as I said, I've made some comments, and we talked about some things about what was happening down on the border, and with the far right people that were going down there to. It ended up they went down there and had a revival. Most of them, I don't think, were aware that's what they were going for. Also, while down there, reports of a bank robbery with possible links to people from the convoy, allegedly. And what was the other incident? A food pantry was broken into, allegedly, once again by people in the convoy. And anytime you get that many people together, if a handful does something bad, it tarnishes the entire thing. I'm just saying. And I mentioned that there was somebody there that had been. Well, he'd actually made some comments, which we're going to show earlier, or we're going to show here in a little bit. I want to get, when Chris gets up here, I want to get his reaction to things. This is someone named Brian Betor. We briefly showed the other night. that he was inside and some of the comments he was making. He said after he made them that they were joking, that they weren't serious. And I had said that, there were reports allegedly that he was talking about a school shooting. And actually, here is the recording. It's under Kate Ross, ROSS, on Twitter. Talks about having sex with underage girls. I wasn't aware of that part. And needing guns for a school shooting in September. That's what I had been told. So those that wrote me and said, "Oh, you're just making up a bunch of stuff trying to make people look bad." No, don't need to do that. No need to do that. People make themselves look bad all the time. They don't need they don't need my help doing it. And again, Chris is going to be up here in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. I remind you once again, I'm going to be doing this either tomorrow night or Thursday night. The episode is going to be strictly about the World Economic Forum and about WHO. We'll give him a couple of more minutes here. Now, with Chris, the businesses that he conducts, sometimes things happen and he's not available. So we'll give a few more minutes here. Hello to Guy. How are you? And Guy reminds me of the West Coast. The West Coast reminds me they are getting pummeled in Southern California. I know that there have been homes lost. I know there have been vehicles wrecked by mudslides, by falling trees. Massive amount of wind out there too, and that's going to be coming across the rest of the country as the week progresses here. But hoping everyone out in the Los Angeles area, especially, got some friends out there, and hope everybody out there is safe. Everybody that I'm aware of is safe at the moment, and hopefully it stays that way. So pouring down to the last 2 days have been very windy. 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. Not as bad as LA though. I saw some reports of wind gusts out there of up into the 100 mile an hour range and over. I think those were up in the higher elevations, but still massive amounts of wind, massive amounts of rain coming in a very short condensed period of time. And that's we talk about these things on here a lot, about just being prepared, because you never know when you're going to be without power, or you're never going to, when you're going to be in some situation where you got to fend for yourself for a few days. And it's more and more likely that each and every one of us are going to run into one of those situations at some point, whether it be power outages, whether it be nefarious actors such as the Chinese wanting to take our infrastructure down, as we've reported on here, whatever it may be. And Chris has joined us, it looks like. Yeah, Chris, how are you?
Pretty good, Barry. How are you guys doing? How's the audience?
Everybody's doing fine. We're just getting rolling along here. Your focus has always, or not always, but in the past few years, your focus has been outside of the country, primarily, as far as keeping up to date on things, because that's where you do a lot of business. Is that a correct assessment?
Exactly.
All right. Because you and I off camera have talked recently about the idea of the Christo nationalist movement, the white nationalist movement, the white Christian nationalist movement. Some call it the fascist movement. There are many different terms, and I don't think you were aware that it was as prevalent as it is.
No,
Or,
and right, and the reason is because I'm out of the country a lot. So when I come back
right.
into the country, I pretty much have to be updated, and kept in the
Yeah.
loop, about what's really going on. So a lot of times people don't tell me, but like what we're talking about right now, I had no idea that even existed.
And I don't think I think there are a lot of people that don't pay close attention, and the border has drawn attention, but it's not like 100% of the country pays attention to anything. And there is a movement that, and this General Flynn, who I'm going to talk about again coming up. We're going to do a little thing on. We're going to analyze this brief conversation between Ivan Ranklin and Alex Jones, and we've both seen a little extended version of it. So we are going to do that. But there's a massive movement of God, guns, and Trump, and there are also a whole lot of legitimate Christians that are appalled by the hijacking of Jesus, by the hijacking of patriotism, by the hijacking of our flag, and they're appalled, but yet they're going to get run over if there is an uprising, because the side of God, guns, and Trump are chomping at the bit for something to happen, in my opinion.
I'm kind of like seeing the same thing too, but I guess they have a legitimate reason to do it though, right? To them,
To them,
right? They're
yeah.
What they want to do is legitimate, all right? Someone else would be like, well, that's crazy. Why would you do that? But
And I don't go ahead.
no, but if they can justify what they're doing, okay, and you're talking about God, guns, and country, I'm like, okay, got it.
God, guns, and Trump.
God, guns, and Trump. Okay,
Yeah,
well, they're obviously like it just sounds like some more MAGA stuff to me.
it is. It is. It is.
So
Of course, it is. What we saw this weekend was a major dose of MAGA with some Q mixed in for seasoning and flavor. Um, I, I've been studying politics and government and been part of both politics and government for 45 years. Um, what we are seeing here is there are two factions. All right. There is the MAGA faction, which is led by Trump.
mhm.
And then there is the Q faction, which is led by this guy, General Mike Flynn, who was put in prison and Trump pardoned him. It's the only way he's out. And he's the guy I think is number two in the little video we're going to see coming up here. But you got two factions, and there is overlap, but yet there's not a trust factor.
Uh-huh.
If something erupts between the far right, it will be between these two factions.
So it kind of like seemed to almost be like an internal struggle, right? You have the
Right.
whole
If there's,
MAGA,
yeah.
right? You have the whole MAGA thing, and then within the MAGA, you would have, you know, one faction and then the other faction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because
Yeah.
well, there's a good chance that because one group doesn't like what the other group's ideology is, or vice versa, that something might come out of that, you know.
And
Um,
and haven't you seen that happen in
yeah,
other countries?
yeah.
Specifically within the fundamentalist Muslim movement. We're talking
Yeah,
about
like
fundamentalist Christians here. The fundamentalist Muslim movement in other countries fraction like this and go to war.
right. So you have like Boko Haram, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
Boko Haram on one side, and you have ISWAP on the other, and eventually ISWAP went in and took over Boko Haram, and now just ISWAP, but Boko Haram was just absorbed into ISWAP. You see, um, and ISWAP is nothing more than ISIS. That's all it is. Um, but the one group was absorbed into another. That's all it really turned out to be. They end up killing they end up killing the leader, right? And then from there, uh, ISWAP just eventually took over Boko Haram, and Boko Haram just got absorbed into ISWAP. And now it's
Or the members of Boko Haram fled and joined other offshoots of other organizations.
well that too. That, I mean,
Yeah,
but yeah, but
yeah.
the biggest thing is um, for what we're talking about. Yeah, they were absorbed into ISWAP, but you can take that into the cartels too, right? So say for instance you have the cartels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a cartel leader, and another cartel leader, and they get it, they start getting into it, whatever, right? And they
Over
get
territory and
right,
or trafficking routes or whatever it may be.
right, and then those two get into it. Now you have this infighting, or there's this fighting between the two groups, right? And who knows who's going to win? But those groups, like if one takes out the other leader, then that can splinter that cartel into many different cartels, and maybe those cartels might, like you said, jump ship and go to other cartels. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so much stuff that could possibly happen. I can only sit there and talk about like a few things just based upon time that we have. But
Right.
as long as but then not only that, you might have um, people um, on the inside that want to create that havoc between the two. You see, and to have both those entities just go at each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So,
Totally see
so
what you're saying.
I mean, there's just so many possibilities with this. Um, that I mean, if those guys really want to stay together, like I just the best way to do it would just be to merge into one, you know, and have the leader, have your other leaders or whatever, have a chain of command, a hierarchy, right? And in case something happens, you know, you will
Mm-hmm.
you will have another leader and let him carry on. But we've seen this before. You see, we see this before, and because guess what? If this is what like MAGA is and these other groups, they're talking about these are like armed non-state actors and militias. They're armed non-state actors, and we saw this with what NFAC, right? We saw
Mm-hmm.
this with the cartels. We see this with like um, groups, armed non-state actor groups in Africa and also in Haiti. You see, it's the same thing. So for if they want Trump or they're backing Trump, I would just suggest that they just come together as one instead of having two factions, because that could be disastrous.
Well,
You
we're gonna
see,
yeah, we'll pick this back up when we get to the Ivan and Alex Jones interview coming up. Um, this is I've got up right now. This is a clip from I think it's from Anarchy Princess put this together. I mean, credit. No, it's from Texan. It's just Um, it's from Texan for Facts. Anarchy Princess is just tagged in it. I reached out to Anarchy Princess. There, I've said her name 3 times in hopes that she would come on here if she had time and wasn't busy to talk about Ivan, because she's got some personal experiences with him. In the meantime, here, this is from Bonehead Truckers, and Bonehead Truckers was commenting on something we showed on here Saturday night. This guy named Master Grifter is what he goes by. I'm not going to say his real name, but he pulled out and passed this whole convoy because he felt he had to get to the front of the convoy, almost caused a head-on crash. He did this other times in the convoy. He passed these people to try to get up to the front. I think he got his truck sideswiped once by a trailer. And it just shows the kind, this is an entitled person that is, I've got to be at the front of the line. And the reason I'm showing this is because I had a couple of truckers contact me saying, hey, all we got to do is contact the Federal Transportation Department and show them this video. If just one person does it, then this guy's going to lose his CDL license. That shows you the kind of, I can't be touched privilege that some of these people have. And that's going to be real dangerous if it ever comes to a confrontation, because some of these people think nobody's ever going to stand up to them. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right, but I don't think they are.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people would stand up to them. If they're going to try to be the bully, then, you have to remember someone's always badder than you are,
Yeah, I do.
I've learned that, you're not the biggest dog on the block. So don't
and
act
oftentimes those that talk the loudest and the most boastful aren't the dangerous ones. The dangerous ones are the ones that are quiet and don't tell you what they're going to do. They just do it.
Right. Exactly. So,
we say, and we've had to talk about Civil War on here because there was so much talk about it. It's still a topic. It's still, a main goal of a lot of people. But you said, if these people are talking about what they're going to do, talking about, if people are really serious about doing things, they generally don't talk about it.
Yeah, they don't. They just they plan them and they execute. We ever heard a terrorist talk about, yeah, we're gonna blow this up, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You never do. They just do it. You see?
Yeah, and you hear a lot of rhetoric about people on the right saying they're going to, they want to kill every Democrat. They want to shoot, they want Joe Biden. They want Nancy Pelosi. They want these people hung. Mike Pence, they want them hung, things like that. You don't hear that from the Democratic side, the left side, or the far fringe of the left and the far fringe of the right excluded, because both those sides got some, they got some issues. Just legitimate, I don't know if there is a left or right anymore. If it's just one extreme and another extreme and a bunch of us in the middle trying to decide how we're going to do what we have to do with the choices we've got. And with that being said, I want to play this from Joe Biden tonight. All right, because the MAGA people, it's with a lot of them, it's Trump or die. They will die if Donald Trump is not put back into power. I don't know if that's talk. With a lot of them, I'm sure it is. Some of them, I don't know. But this is the other option we have.
People have pled guilty. Right after I was elected, I went to what they call a G7 meeting, all the NATO leaders. And it was in the south of England. And I sat down and I said, America's back. And Mitterrand from France looked at me and said, said, you know,
He said, you know, I've been dead since 1996. Um, okay, maybe they're not going to catch this. I don't know. But Joe Biden just said that at the last G6 meeting, G7 meeting he was at, he was talking to Mitterrand, the president of Germany. And then he corrected himself and said president of France, which he was. But he was only president of France up until 1995, and the guy died in 1996. And Biden's making a speech saying that he just talked to the guy.
Well,
So
listen, you know Biden's a little gone. So
Biden is a lot gone. You know, let's be real. Biden's a lot gone. And Trump is farther gone by the day. But my point in playing this is you don't have people saying, if Biden's not president, we're going to kill all of you. They say vote for Biden because the other guy is not acceptable. They never talk about vote for Biden or we're going to kill all of you. We're saying this to wake people up, to understand where our country's at in case you don't.
I mean, you know, the left is not, should we say, that violent. Okay. And I mean, the right, they feel that the country has really gone down. It's going to go down to where it cannot be recovered. You see, so they believe the only way to get this country back is through revolution or through violence, to get it where it needs to be and to get the people out of office that they believe that don't need to be there. As simple as that.
Yeah.
You know.
And the only major thing that Trump could run on is the border.
Right.
Because
right now,
abortion. Yeah. You know, the economy. I got a clip of Fox News talking about how great the economy is. This is Fox News right here, Chris. That this is from Fox News this afternoon, and the exchange is basically, Congresswoman says this bill keeps the border wide open. The Fox News correspondent says, have you read all 370 pages of the bill? The congressperson says, we're working through it. It waters down the asylum laws. The Fox News anchor says, it's exactly the opposite. And that's why I'm asking if you've even read it. These people are just, they're not going to do anything. Even, I mean, if the border is such a big crisis, then how can you say we need to wait until 2025 when Trump's in office to fix it? Can you explain that to me?
Listen, I can't understand their thought process, their logic. But if it's a problem, then it needs to be rectified now. You see?
Yeah.
Doing it, you know, in 2025 is not helping the cause.
It's not helping the American people.
Right.
And and if that's the only thing you got to run on, you shouldn't be running.
Right. So it needs to be fixed now.
Chris, I'm going to do something either tomorrow night, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'm going to just pack together a bunch of these WEF, World Economic Forum videos, and the WHO videos, and just do an episode showing what they are saying in their own words. And here's Bill Gates.
You know, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, and then we're taking
everything. Am I still up?
Yeah, you are.
Chris,
Can
are
you hear
you
me?
there? Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Fine.
yeah. Lost everything there for a second. I guess that's not something we're supposed to be talking about. All right. Here's the statement from the Border Patrol Union, because this has been Fox News. Border Patrol Union says they support and endorse the bipartisan border deal negotiated in the Senate, saying it's, quote, not perfect, but far better than the status quo, end quote. Therefore, I would think that would do something towards stopping this major issue that our country has, and it would be better than waiting to 2025 again. Here's the segment of the statement. Since Joe Biden has been in office, the CBP has averaged over 6,700 apprehensions per day. That's apprehensions. But is that really an apprehension, or is this an apprehend? This is like we take these people, we take them to a processing center, and then they're released.
Right.
So,
right. So my question is, like, when Trump was in office, how many people were they apprehending per day?
About 4,700.
About 40. Okay. All right.
According to a Republican senator that I heard this afternoon.
Okay. So he was getting 47.
Okay, that's another. This is. Yeah, and I want to reference this video just real quick. This guy was trying to meet a 12-year-old girl. The father found out about it and sicked his dog on, and sicked both of his dogs on him. People are fighting back against the pedophiles,
and they need to do that. That's
yeah.
Wow.
This is Pam Hill. I've talked to Pam about coming on the show before. Pam has done time. She did time for J6. She already did her time and she's out. And in this particular thing, we're not going to show it, but she's talking about an ex Twitter debate space. General Flynn is a hero. People need to have your heads checked. Flynn is behind this insanity regarding make the country an all-Christian nation, and Trump as a dictator, dangerous person who needs to be stopped before civil war breaks out. Just a reminder, that's where we're at. And she's still a Republican, but she voted for the first time ever in a Democratic primary. Here it is. It was on Newsmax, not Fox, Chris. Senator Langford on Newsmax. I would like to remind folks, and he's a Republican, I would like to remind folks that during the Trump administration, we also had days of more than 4,000 people that were illegally crossing the border in 2019, and they were struggling because there were gaps and loopholes in the law. So, again, another World Economic Forum. They're coming for your coffee. All right. I'm just going to pause this here because I know we got coffee drinkers. The coffee that you all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. So you coffee drinkers, you're the problem. You coffee drinkers and the cows are the problem. It's not that it's a scam. It's not that it's the greatest grip the world's ever seen. It's because you all drink coffee. And because I drink milk that comes from cows. We're to blame. Jeez. Chris, what do you call it when the feds call in the National Guard from one state to stand against the National Guard of another state? Alaska National Guard plans deployment to assist federal government on U.S.-Mexico border.
Whoa. They're going to do what?
The Alaska National Guard plans deployment to assist federal government on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Okay.
The context is It's not being deployed against the Texas National Guard. And it only involves 20 guardsmen to potentially be deployed in early 25, units that would help provide aviation support.
Right.
And it has nothing, yeah, okay. Again, I'm going to put all these together and talk about them either Tuesday or Thursday. Dennis Meadows, a Club of Rome member, hopes the necessary depopulation of the planet down to 1 billion, a reduction of 87.5, can occur in a civil way. You know, he's hoping for a nice extermination, nice, quiet, peaceful extermination. At some point, somebody's going to go, okay, if that's the case, let's start with you all. Now, have you seen this, Chris?
No,
have
I
you
have not.
seen the Apple? Let me. This is just one sample. There are a lot. There are sample. There are videos of people driving with this thing on. There's a guy at a Boston Celtics basketball game with one of these on, that he's doing all of his things, and this is going to become more normal. There's one of a guy driving a Tesla, and the Tesla is driving itself, and this guy's playing on his computer on his headset. Now, you've been on here as a counterterrorism expert, a security expert, and you've told people, look, you need to have your head on a swivel, not always into your phone, because that just makes you, it's going to make you an easier victim. What are these things going to do?
Oh, that's total lack of situational awareness at all times. Like, I really can't understand people for the life of me why they're so distracted with entertainment and everything else. It's like, pay attention to like what's going on around you so you don't end up getting killed.
Okay, I'm going to hold off on that, Cindy McCain. I want to get down. Hold on a sec. Biden leads Trump in Pennsylvania by just 0.03 points. Okay. Ann Coulter actually said this weekend that the best thing Trump could do for America is die.
Yeah, boy, you know what? These people are so. One day they love you, the next day they hate you, and then the next day they love you again. So when these people start talking, I take what they say with a grain of salt. I really do. They're so wishy-washy. You know, they seriously flip-flop. One day, like I said, one day they love you, next day they hate you, and then another day they'll love you again. So, whatever, you know.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to hop over here to the chat for just a second. Hop over and say hello to Michelle, not going away. Patton McCrotch, my gosh, a long time. Cunning Stunt. I'm going to be very careful saying your name, stunning one. Thank you all for being here. And anybody else that happens to be in here, hello to Frank. I'm scrolling up here. Peace, love, and sunshine. And again, thank you all. We greatly appreciate you being here. Anybody that wants to hop up, the link should be at the very top of the chat bar, and it is up there. So if anybody that wants to hop up, please do so. And if you have a question for us or a comment, we will be happy to talk with you. Okay, Chris. I'm just going to play this short part here. We just talked that, the best thing for America would be for Trump to die in Ann Coulter's eyes. What we're about to play, these two guys get giddy with the idea that Trump's out of the way. We've talked about how there are two factions. There's the Q faction, and there's the MAGA faction, and Flynn's leading the Qs, and Trump's leading the MAGA. And I don't know if either one of them. I think they probably despise each other, and I think Trump's probably incredibly paranoid that Flynn's going to take him out. And I'm curious if what we're about to hear is a way of setting up an alibi for somebody. Hey, we told you all this was going to happen, but the Democrats did it. And we've been talking about Democrats don't do that kind of stuff, right?
That's
normally
correct. Right. The Democrats, but keep in mind now, Iran still has that target, and that I keep telling people, they want to disregard Iran. Iran's really pissed off about him targeting Soleimani. Right. So keep your eyes on Iran as well. Don't forget him.
I think they've got like a $10 million bounty on his head.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it seems like Trump's getting it from two angles, right? From two fronts.
Sure sounds like it. And this might be a Brutus, Caesar and Brutus situation, referencing, ancient Rome, where Flynn doesn't want Trump in the way of what Flynn has in mind. And I don't know. That's what I thought the first time I heard this. For those of you that haven't heard this is Ivan Ranklin with Alex Jones.
And this is a message directly to every single person on the deep state target list. My assessment,
Okay, the deep state target list we've found out is basically all the Democrats in power, all the rhinos in power. All right, rhinos, Republicans in name only. Anybody that's not a MAGA Trumper is part of the deep state. Just like anybody that's not part of the far left is MAGA. Just like anybody that's not part of the far right is Antifa. The labels are getting saturated because there are those of us that in the middle that are actually Americans, actually patriotic, actually believe in the Christianity of loving and forgiving and caring for our neighbors, blah, on and on and on. Not God's guns and Trump.
Right.
And I just feel like we're at a place where if we don't start organizing as a middle, that there's not going to be any peaceful solutions to anything.
And you know what, Barry? No one's talking about diplomacy. I don't think there's really, I don't think this is a diplomatic
solution for this.
I really don't think so.
That's what, Chris, that's how this channel started. Is, what made this channel take off is I was trying to get Angry Viking from the Angry People and Grandmaster Jay from NFAC to talk to each other, because I felt like all of us as normal citizens have a lot more in common than we do against each other.
That's true.
And there's a whole lot of distrust and ignorance and fear on all sides, and a whole lot of it is being stoked by the quote unquote elite or deep state or right-wing political whoever. And if we could plug our ears from all that crap and open our ears to our fellow Americans and understand we really could be on the precipice of losing this nation. A lot of us, I think, understand that. But if we could get everybody just to ratchet everything down and refocus on, hey, what's really real? Because we've shown things on here, and there are people that are still going to say, oh no, that's not the way it is. And those people we will never reach, because they can't be honest with themselves. Because if they're honest with themselves, then they realize they've been conned.
Right.
And it's easier to stay a fool than to acknowledge that you've been fooled for some people.
Right. So, like I said, a lot of people live in their own little bubble. You know what I'm saying? And because they live in their own little world, their own little bubble, they don't want to deal with reality. Okay. They want reality to be what they think it is instead of what it really is. You see what I'm saying? Look at things for what they are, not for what you want them to be. Okay.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
Out of that, if you see like something's really jacked up, then do your best to make a change. Okay, but don't sit there and act like in your little world that, well, this is how it is, and when it's not reality. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a lot of people have some mental illness or whatnot, but reality is reality, and you can't change it, no matter how much you want to. It is what it is, so you have to deal with it.
Yeah, and sometimes we get caught up thinking how things should be or how things could be, and don't deal with how they are.
Right. Exactly.
How it is. Okay.
Yep. RAKILIN's assessment that if you assassinate any political presidential candidate, whether it's RFK, whether it's Trump, guess what? America will do the following immediately. They will respond in kind, and they know who you are.
Okay, so something happens to Trump, something happens to RFK. This guy's saying that they have already established that they're going to go after everybody that is not them. Is that how you would read what we just heard?
Pretty much. So it did, yeah. But he didn't specify how are they going to go after them. He just said they're going to go after them. Now you can interpret that any way you want, okay? But he just said that they would pretty much.
He says they will respond in kind. He says if they are assassinated, we will respond in kind.
So does that? Well, see, I'm not gonna, because it's kind of ambiguous. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna be here one to try to interpret what he means, because if I say something and he can say
yeah.
So
yeah.
the whole thing,
you got there's a lot of stuff involved. Me,
right.
I'm just going to lose my channel, if I say it, and I'm telling people, not only listen to this guy's words, but look at his mannerisms, look at his facial expressions, and see if you don't believe that he believes what he's saying.
Yeah. So
because we've created the list. So if you
and that's a major Rubicon. They should know that
immediately. You're going to see immediately response, and there are only a few buildings in Washington D.C. that they will probably do that.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but these people are crazy.
Okay, so only a couple of buildings in D.C. where they will do that. I would assume that would be the Capitol and the White House.
Right. And yeah.
Is that not domestic terrorism? Is that okay?
And having said that, if they do that, option 2 behind Trump is going to be so much better for us and so much worse.
Well, I was about to say, if they kill him.
Now, this is where I speculate, and I put my speculation in that this is where I get the Mike Flynn. This is where I get the QAnon, and that they would be much happier having Flynn than Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredibly scary to me. I mean, you're talking, okay, Trump, I can understand. Trump's been in there he was there for 4 years.
Right.
He might have done a couple of things that were, good. But it all got lost because he was fucking Trump. He was an absolute buffoon asshole. Liar, liar, liar. If he'd have just been a normal president, he would still be in office. But he couldn't. Now, why should we think he will now? Anyway, I'm getting off point. That's why they want to kill him, because he's not stable. He doesn't have a whole lot of class. It doesn't appear. He acts like he's got a whole lot of money, but I think that's all been false paper, and I think they are preparing, they're laying the groundwork, saying all this stuff because they know, at some point we got to get rid of this guy. All right, we got to get rid of this guy because if he goes down, he's taking down all the Congress people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jordan, Gates, everybody that was involved. If Trump goes down, he's taking all them down. He's going to take Alex Jones down. He's going to take Ivan down. He's going to take Steve Bannon down. He's going to take all the Proud Boys down that aren't already down. He's going to take every freaking body with him down. And wouldn't it be easier if they just removed him?
Yeah, so
we think outside the box here. This is analysis. This is,
right.
Yeah,
so
that's case scenario.
Go ahead.
Right. That's a good way of thinking of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess they think he's just getting away with things. I mean, and Trump pretty much throws people under the bus left and right. So you see what he did the Rudy Giuliani, right?
Yeah. And his lawyer that just lost the case, immediately came out and talked about how she, maybe it's not better to be pretty than smart. Because that was the thing. I don't have to be smart because I'm pretty. I can pretend to be smart. Well, in court, that doesn't always work. And this time it didn't. And I think Trump learned a lesson, threw her under the bus immediately. And I've said on here for probably a month now, and I've thought it and analyzed it out before I had the courage to come on and say it, but neither Trump nor Biden will be president in 2024.
Yeah, you've said that.
I'll go into depth. I'll go into when there's a lull, when things aren't as fast paced as they seem to be right now. I'll take an episode and explain why I believe those. And well, here's one of the reasons I believe. I mean, I didn't even know about this, but let's just listen to the rest of it and then we'll comment.
From a sick level beating him, oh, please kill him, but it's so good after that.
Oh, it's going to be the best cleansing and the fastest cleansing that we've ever seen in my lifetime. I assess.
How many cleansings have we seen in his lifetime? We haven't seen any here in our country, but there have been some around the world.
Right. So
just saying.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, I'm not gonna say a blessed word. I'm really not.
Okay, that's fine. I totally get it.
With almost certainty, with the highest level of confidence, that if they assassinate Trump, it is so game over for them, and it's going to be so fast.
I can't believe the guy said it on this platform, and I can't believe that the federal government hasn't brought him in for. I mean, I've seen less extreme comments by people on social media get them in much more trouble than this. Maybe they're not aware of it because they were so focused on the border. I don't know, but and if I was, if what would you be thinking if you were Trump and saw this?
I'd be like, wow, you know. I mean, like what do you really say? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. You already know that you already wanted. You know what I'm saying? So someone already wants to take me out from a foreign country, but you know, my own people too. You know, is it?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that whole idea about Trump being assassinated by another political party, would that was out maybe a year or two ago. You see, I'd heard that. I'd heard that like a year or two ago, and now now this year, it's like really rearing its ugly head.
And wasn't it Ecuador that 4 or 5 months ago, candidate for president got shot in public?
Yeah. That matter of fact, that wasn't Ecuador.
Yeah,
there's been a whole lot of political violence, and one of the individuals running for president ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
like this is not a game. You know, they're playing for keeps here. You know.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go back over here to the chat. We are back to Federalists versus Republicans. Better not come for my coffee. They're going to come for your coffee. They're going to come for, I mean, they've already said, you know, you're going to be eating, nothing you're going to be eating is natural. It's all going to be chemically lab produced. I would assume a lot of plastics and metals will be involved in that. And we need to pay attention now and figure out how to stop this.
What's gonna go away? What's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'll let you know that right now. We can talk about it all we want, but sometimes these things are like way out of our hands.
Yeah. Chris, I described it the other night when I was on, that it's like, okay, there's this elite level, all right? And the elites control the politicians, the movers and shakers, the whatever, that control all of us down here. They said the neo-feudal class, all of us down here. We can't break through this political class to even come close to getting to the elite class. We got to hope there's some kind of people with a humanistic moral compass that are gonna try to take these people down, because if anybody's untouchable, it would be those people.
Right.
But, because most of them, you don't know most of them's names or where they are, or or what they look like. They don't. Their minions come out and say all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you got someone come out talking about this stuff, but that's really not the guy saying it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Butterflies are free. Hello. Always be kind. Thank you for being Lolo's Lounge. Hey, Lolo. Lolo, you're welcome in here and up here anytime. Incredibly intelligent lady, and she's up on her politics like nobody else. So always welcome to come in. Hello to D. I see you down there, Noodle Poodle. Which side smokes more meth, the convoy or the protesters? always nice to have a little lighthearted comment in there. And if I had to guess, I'd say it was the convoy.
Right.
Just guessing from some behavior I've seen. Can't take another Trump Biden playoff. I can't believe that. Oh, I can, because I know what's going to happen. But the idea that they're trying to sell a Trump Biden rematch I believe it's an incredible distraction for a lot of other things that are wanting to put us, wanting to suppress society more and more and more. But that's just my thought. And again, it'll take longer than a few minutes to talk about all that. I think it's really sad that we're going to be facing a Trump Biden playoff. You mean to tell me that we can't come up with anything better than these two assholes? And that, Chris, that's D is saying what a vast majority of America is saying. You know, I saw an article said Biden's dealing with an enthusiasm gap. Nobody's enthused about Biden. You know, it's not not anybody's enthused about Biden. It's the fact that Biden's the only other option. Okay, you risk a lot of people just saying, "Fuck it." If I've got to pick between these two, I'm just going to stay out of this, and then I'm not to blame. And that's what they want. They want as few people possible voting, because that way it comes down to their two bases. So that's part of the political strategy of putting up two assholes. That's just the way it works.
Hey, you're the politician. That's your area of
trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. They want as few people voting as possible, because then it just comes down to their bases, their loyalists, and they try to shut out those of us in the middle that vote on policy, not personality.
Right.
All right. Well, okay, Chris, we'll do this again 9:00 Friday night. All right,
with you. Sounds good to me, Barry.
Barring any, and again, we'll have an open platform. The link will be up at the top. If anybody wants to join us, you'll be able to. And I'll be back on either tomorrow or Thursday, probably one of those 2 days. And we're just going to talk about the WEF, the WHO, and the possibility of this, the way the elites look at us, and we're going to do it in their own words. And again, anybody wants to join me, let me know. Email me, americandoofus@gmail.com, doofus, DUFUS, and or leave a comment below if you're watching, and you're not watching live, you're watching at your convenience. And until then, we will see you. Chris, thank you, brother. Always appreciate you.
Thank you.
Always appreciate you, man. We'll talk.
Okay, you take care now.
All right. And again, thank you all. Thank you all for being here, for clicking on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. And hopefully we've given you some things to think about. That's what we try to do here. We want people to think. And, a lot of channels, a lot of funny channels, a lot of, funny stuff going on. Lolo, I mentioned Lolo earlier. Lolo's covering Lolo covers Congress a lot. She covers the committee hearings, and she has experts on, people that know what they're talking about. Anarchy Princess, I mentioned her earlier. Anarchy Princess is covering a lot of the J6 hearings. A lot of people doing work, getting information out, and we try to do that here as well. We try to do it. I'm going to call out both sides when it's necessary, and that's what you do when you're in the middle. That's what you do when you're trying to practice journalism. You don't become friends with either side. You tell the truth about everything that's going on, because you're trying to communicate information to people, not an agenda. And that's what we try to do here. And I thank you all for watching. Love you all like chocolate chip cookies. It's been great. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. And we will be on at 9 o'clock Wednesday or Friday with Chris. I'll be back sometime tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. And again, if you got some knowledge about the WEF, about the vaccines, if you want to come on, I'd love to have some science people come on and talk and tell me what I'm wrong about. I enjoy that. I enjoy people coming on telling me what I'm wrong about, but it doesn't happen very often because we just spew facts. Again, I love y'all. Thank you for being here. It's a dark world. Try to be a light. We'll see you next time.